Hi, everybody. My name is Josh Weiss, and I'm going to share from my point of view 5 things that you need to do to be a transformative leader. Number one is be authentic. Leadership challenges are really difficult. And when we try to fake it till we make it, it doesn't work. It may work in the short term, but the reality is you have to be authentic. You have to be you. That means knowing your strengths, building on them, emphasizing them, and also understanding your weaknesses, working on them, but also being a bit vulnerable. People respond to leaders who are vulnerable and who don't always have all the answers. Nobody does. And I found that I'm far more effective when people can see me struggling, grappling, trying to work with what's in front of me to come up with the best solution possible. Two, be adaptable and flexible in your mindset. There are a lot of challenges that come at us as leaders where we don't know the answer and we don't have all the information that we need in order to make a decision. So, part of the challenge is to learn to train your mind to be adaptable, to take in new information and manage it as it comes. I found that that's a far more realistic approach because we're always learning something new. New information is coming in, a new dynamic changes, things along those lines. So, if we can learn to be adaptable in our mindset, it's really going to help us. Now, a lot of people struggle with this, but it's possible. And one way to learn how to be better at this is to learn the skills of improv, for example, where you train your mind to think a little more quickly. Three, be curious. So for me, being curious leads to lots of things. It leads to an openness, it leads to asking questions, it leads to problem solving and creativity. If I feel like I have all the answers and I'm not curious, then I miss out on possibilities. So instead of questioning everything that comes at you, try to be curious and say, what if? Or what might that look like if we did this differently? A curious mindset, along with that adaptability and flexibility, is incredibly valuable. The fourth is to create a culture and a structure for people to work in. I'm a very big proponent of giving people the space and the ability to shine. But the challenge is if you don't create a culture where people understand what are some of the principles behind that, as well as a well-defined structure where people know their roles and responsibilities, then that freedom that you're giving them doesn't work. Jim Collins talks about this in his book, Good to Great, and I wholeheartedly subscribe to it. When you've created that container, if you will, of a culture and a structure, then you can say to people, have at it and do your job, set your goals, and stay in touch with me. And they're much more likely to have success. The last one is understand the idea of accountability. Too often, people want to talk about holding other people accountable. I'm a big fan of actually getting people to hold themselves accountable. So I've worked with a lot of employee-owned businesses, and that's exactly what happens in those realms, where employees who have a stake in the company don't need someone to hold them accountable. They want to hold themselves accountable because they feel an ownership in the company. Now, you don't have to have an employee-owned company to take that approach. What you have to do is you have to get people to buy into the vision and understand why being accountable is so important. Then, when people start to hold themselves accountable, you see a ripple effect, and more people will do that. So, those are some keys that I've learned over the years in terms of being a transformative leader. Try them out and see how they work for you.